are we doing? This is Catherine Yock here. I'm one of the staff workers at Griffith Christian Students. Can be found at South Bank on Fridays, which is a bit less than usual thanks to COVID, but the rest of the time we're here live streaming from our house on a Monday night. This trimester we've been hoping to get lots of interviews with people, students, graduates, professional musos and artists, and this week I'd like to really welcome a former student from Griffith Christian Students. It's Elle Bryce, and Elle was a big part of our group for a long time. So Elle, hello, are you there?
Hey, yeah, so nice to be back.
That's great. It's great to have you with us. Can you just give us a quick introduction to who you are and maybe share one quirky thing about yourself?
Sure. My name is Elle. Currently, I'm living in Sydney. I'm studying at a Bible college here, Moore Theological College. One quirky thing about me is I have this thing called synesthesia. So it's where two senses kind of connect, and you, have a mixture of senses. So my thing is I can hear movement. So if someone like waves their hand at me, it makes a sound in my head. That's it.
Wow, I've never actually heard of that before. That's pretty fantastic. How did that impact your art at all? Like, was that just kind of how you experience the world and impact art for you?
Totally, yeah. Because I did animation, and that's actually super helpful for the timing of the animation because I can see and hear the timing, and so I can check it kind of with the two senses. So it was super useful, actually. Yeah.
Cool. So you said that you were studying animation. Can you tell us a bit about that for you? Like, what was that like at uni?
Yeah, sure. I studied animation at QCA. I majored in 2D, so hand-drawn animation and stop motion. I really loved it. I got into animation because going from high school, I was really interested in drawing, and I actually wanted to pursue a career in children's book illustrating, but there was no courses I could find on that. So I ended up at Griffith doing animation because that was the most drawing heavy course that I could do. And yeah, I really loved it. But it was an interesting place to be a Christian. I was the only Christian in my course. So it kind of felt isolating sometimes. Yeah.
So you're working on anything creative at the moment?
Well, I haven't really set aside the time to draw recently, but what I've been doing is I've been getting into sewing instead.
Face masks.
Exactly. So I've been making lots of face masks, and I taught myself how to make face masks, and I made a bunch of them this weekend for friends at college. And I just make them out of like scraps of material I have, and so everyone's walking around with a really colorful face mask, which is really fun for me, seeing everyone dressed in my colorful aesthetic.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I think one of my early memories of you, Elle, was you just saying how fantastic it was to be at the QCA and not just like wear odd socks, but wear odd shoes to uni, because that was just kind of normal.
Yeah. I mean, you can get away with that at QCA. It's fantastic.
You might be happy to know that our 5-year-old has taken a liking to odd socks, so maybe he's got a future at the QCA ahead of him. So crazy colours and all that sort of stuff is cool. So Elle, you're someone who's a Christian who trusts Jesus, but I just assume, like the rest of us, you weren't always a Christian. So how did you decide to trust Jesus and become a Christian? Like, how did that happen for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. Ultimately, I became Christian and decided to trust in Jesus because I was convinced by reading the Bible that Jesus is an immense figure that I need to pay attention to, and I need to discover who he is and respond to him appropriately. I found that out through being involved with the Griffith Christian Students when I was a student. When I moved on campus in my first year, it was quite a culture shock for me. My parents are Christian, so I'd always heard like the Bible, and we went to church, and I knew kind of Christian stuff, but I didn't really know how to read the Bible. So that was, yeah, and I found first year at uni quite hard, not knowing where I fit in, and yeah, kind of feeling like an outsider, especially in the dormitory situation I was living in. So in my second year, I got introduced to the Christian group, and I thought, maybe I'll fit in here, maybe I'll make some friends here. So I went along to meet other people, and the people were lovely. It was really lovely to meet fellow Christians, but actually the thing that really struck me was being taught how to read the Bible well, and going to Bible talks and going to Bible studies, and actually discovering there was so much to learn about Jesus that I had never even heard of. And actually, I really had to decide at that point whether I wanted to trust in Jesus personally. And yeah, I was convinced that the Bible says that Jesus is the Son of God, and that Jesus' life, death, and resurrection completely changed the world. And so, yeah, I decided that I had to respond to it by having faith in Jesus.
That's great. Yeah, thanks so much for sharing that. So if you were coming to know that in more depth while you're at uni and while you were at the same time studying animation, yeah, what was it like to be doing those things? How did your faith, I guess, impact your creativity, and how did your creativity kind of impact your faith?
Yeah, yeah, it was really interesting growing more in my faith while going to art college, because yeah, the kind of broader culture, at least when I was there, of QCA was decidedly anti-Christian. And so it was really hard to kind of go against this dream in that way. So at times it was challenging, but I think, yeah, I got to, yeah, to read the Bible with fellow artists sometimes. I tried to meet up with some other students at QCA, and we would try and encourage each other. I would, yeah, make the opportunity to maybe play some sneaky Christian music in our group studies room, or talk to my friends about Jesus and invite them to church. And I think art school is a really good place to build really deep connections and friendships and relationships, which is a really good place to have those conversations. Yeah, my year level at animation was only 30 people, which was great because I knew everyone, and that made for some really good, yeah, really good opportunities.
Yeah, cool. I feel like tonight we're actually talking about that sort of stuff. Like we're talking about how Jesus impacts our relationships. So that was something that you found while you were studying art. Like, can you talk a bit more about that sort of stuff for us?
Totally. Yeah, I think the more I learned about Jesus, the more I can see like he is an example to follow, because like Jesus literally is in charge of everything in the whole universe. But he was so kind, he was so gentle, he was so compassionate, and he wasn't afraid to tell people what was right. And I think knowing Jesus more and more helps me to have more compassion on people, helps me to be more forgiving because I know I am forgiven. And it just gives me more room to, yeah, give people more the benefit of the doubt and to love them well, knowing that I've been loved, and knowing that God loves them. And yeah, there's nothing that I should hold against anyone. Yeah, I think, yeah, just growing more in my knowledge of Jesus helps me to, yeah, grow more in my my want for other people's good. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Ellie. That's really encouraging to hear, and just great to chat to you again. We miss you heaps.
Yeah.
And